Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motorcast. It's your host, Dave. I got online special guest from the Classic American Muscle Association, Jim Diekfuss. How you doing, Jim?
Real good. How are you guys doing?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
So Jim, how did you get into drag racing? How did it all begin for you?
Oh, I was about, I'm going to say 9 or 10, and my cousin had a nice 69 Corvette, and he'd go to the Grove with it, and he'd take me along, and I got hooked. Back in the early 70s.
Then what year did you start drag racing?
I got my Chevelle that I have now. I got that in 75. I started racing that summer, right out of high school.
No, so you've been driving the same car all the way till now?
Yep. Well, it was my street car, then it became a race car, and then it got put away after I got married for about 20 years. And I brought it back out to race it again.
So was Great Lakes Dragway the first track you raced at?
Yes. Yep.
And that'd be back when Broadway Bob was up there, huh?
Oh, yeah. My mom and dad would take me down there on a Saturday when I was probably 12 or 13. Drop me off in the morning. I'd stay there all day, and then they'd pick me up at night. I've been going to the track, like I said, since probably 70 or before. Actually, even before that, because my dad took me and my brother once to the Olympics of drag racing. It had to be like 67, 68 back in those days. But yeah, I've been there quite a while.
Yeah, I started going up to about 4 or 5 years old with my dad. So, like right now I'm 50 years old, so
Yeah.
So yeah, my dad got me into drag racing, taking me up there all the time, the Great Lakes, and then also US 30 drag strip in Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
My dad used to race dirt track cars when I was a little boy. Our boy was actually born when I was born, and he had to pick that up because of me. That's what he always told me. So racing's been in our blood since, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, so you remember Great Lakes Dragway when they had a lot of funny cars there, and they used to have a lot of nitro cars come in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember when we'd go down for at that time it was a 4-day weekend. We'd go out for the big weekends and camp out, and the stands were packed, the parking lots were packed. It was an amazing time.
Yeah, Broadway really used to put on a show.
Yeah, that's for sure. I saw Evel Knievel, and the rocket cars were back in the day, and it was a lot of fun growing up there.
Yeah. So now, how did you meet up with the Classic American Muscle Association?
I was bracket racing my Chevelle, and one weekend, I forget what weekend it was, but it was like 4th of July. It was a bigger weekend, and there was no bracket race. And they asked me if I wanted to race with them. I said, sure, why not? And I was, I can't remember her last name, but Brooke, she's got a 67 Chevelle wagon.
Yeah, Brooke Cesario.
Yeah. And our times were pretty close to each other, so we started racing each other. It was a lot of fun. Then they asked me to join the club, and I did. Unfortunately, there was a couple times this summer I couldn't make it, but when I ever had a chance, I went down and raced with them.
So you coming back out with them again this year?
I plan to at this point. I still want to do bracket racing. I'd like to see that program start to improve. It's kind of fallen downhill the last couple of years, but I remember when there used to be hundreds of cars in that program, and now we're getting 60, 70, But hopefully we can get that turned around. I'm a little bit more competitive. I like to race for money or to win. Classic American guys, it's more of a show, which is fine. It's fun to do. I'm not complaining or anything, but I like the competition.
Yeah, they got some cool looking trophies that David Meyer makes.
Oh yeah, they made some really nice stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get one.
Yeah. So, so what?
Maybe next year.
So what's the quickest pass you've had with that car?
I went 1190s with it. That was like 2 years ago with a different motor in it. I took that motor out to refreshen it, and unfortunately, I made one lap with it the next year and took the bottom end out. There was a little problem with the machine shop that put it back together. So I picked up another motor, stuffed it in there, and I'm running, depending on the weekend, low to mid 12s, which is fine. You know, I can't go in the street class. I can't go faster than 12.0. So I'm right there basically.
So you're running twin nitrous on there?
No, just no nitrous, just 383 small block. That's it.
I thought I saw a picture of your car with nitrous coming off.
No nitrous. Tire smoke maybe, but no. It's a 4-barrel 383 stroker, 60 over. You know what? It's not, again, nothing special. It's just a lot of fun to drive. And the little tires, it's a handful sometimes, which makes it more fun.
Yeah. So besides, go ahead.
I went to the bracket finals in Michigan. I went 4 rounds there with all the best in the division, which was fun. Did really well there. Made some money, but that was a good time.
No, it's funny you brought up Michigan because I was about to ask you, have you ever ran in any other track besides Great Lakes Dragway?
I ran at Michigan, Byron, and Joliet, but in the past, helping Andy Bull with his alcohol funny car, I've been all over the country with him.
So now, the next question I wanted to give, after all these years of drag racing, what keeps you passionate about drag racing?
The competition, the cars, the mechanic, trying to make mine better than the next guy, so to speak. I always like to beat somebody. It's more fun to beat them than to get beat. I would have to say the competition. So
now, were there any drivers, back in the 70s that were inspirational to you?
I met Tom Hoover. He actually camped next to us one time at the track with his funny car, the Showtime funny car.
Right.
And spent a night with him, goofing around and having a good time. Of course, Don Garlis. One race, Don Garlis didn't have enough crew guys, so he asked one of my buddies to help tow the car back, which was kind of neat, back in the late 70s. So, I guess Tom Hoover was probably a big inspiration for me, just because he did it on his own. He's one of the guys that did everything by himself.
Let's see. What was it like for you to get behind the wheel for the first time and go down a, drag race track?
Nervous. It was nerve-wracking. You see all these guys. To me now it's nothing, but back in the day in high school I was just nervous. My Chevelle at that time had a 4-speed in it, and I did well. I got a trophy that first day, so maybe that started my career. But I see guys nowadays, these new kids coming in with their factory-bought cars, and they stage with the back tires, and they don't know anything. It's like they don't even try to check out what's going on before they pull up there. And I guess I was the same way back in the day. It was just more nerve-wracking than anything, not knowing what you're doing. And back then, as of now, there's not really anybody to sit down and talk to you about it. You just have to, you don't have a buddy that's done it, you don't know. So it's a learning experience.
Now, do you have any crew members?
Not really. My daughter and her boyfriend, Steve Roden, help me when they can. This last year, I was pretty much on my own. I have, everybody in the bracket program there. If you need a hand with anything, they'll jump right in and help you. It's drag race, so we're a big family. So.
Yeah, it just gets bigger and bigger all the time. So, Kurt, do you have any sponsors?
FTR Performance out of Union Grove has helped me out this year, and my business used to do it, but I had to close my business due to health issues. So, but yeah, FTR Performance out of Union Grove. That's Steve Roden's business now. I don't know if you know Steve at all.
Yeah, Steve from Legend Racing.
Yeah, and Legend Racing. Actually, Doug's coming over tomorrow to help Steve and help me and look at my transmission. So I would say Legend Racing too.
Yeah, I remember Steve when he was with the Wise Guys.
Oh, okay, sure, that's right. Yeah.
And his brother Doug.
Yeah. Or his dad, Doug. Dad, Doug.
Yeah, okay. Now, can you tell us what goes into preparation to get the car ready for a weekend of drag racing for you?
Well, for me, it's pull the plugs, check all the oil, check tire pressures, and make sure everything's in the trailer that you need. Load up, fuel, bringing spare parts that I don't really need a lot of spare parts, but it's nice to have fuses and odds and ends just in case. If I were to have a major issue, then I'd be done for the day. But if a fan belt comes off, or just making sure that everything's tight, doing a nut and bolt on it, wash and wax. That's the thing that kills me is, you wash the truck, wash the trailer, wash the race car, wash the golf cart. It's like never ending. Make sure it's all clean. Then, of course, you get there and it rains. So, but that's a big part of my preparation, making sure everything's neat and clean and tidy.
So now, would you consider Great Lakes Dragway your favorite track to run on?
For me, yes. Yep. Yeah.
Now, have you ever done the eighth mile racing at all?
I did. First time this year in Michigan. Street runs quarter mile at the Grove, and at Michigan we had to run eighth mile. To me, drag racing's the quarter mile all the time. That's how it should be. But I understand some guys don't like it at the Grove because of the bump in the right lane. I've never had an issue with it. I've never even seen it, but I think it should be a quarter mile. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I know some guys like the eighth mile because it saves on the car or whatever.
Yeah, it saves wear and tear. You would think eighth mile you could run the show faster, but it seems almost to slow it down because it takes so long to get to the turnoff. But,
yeah, eighth mile is right when the car's getting warmed up.
Yeah, right. Just starting to run. And with my car, it's 3,200 pounds, and I'm doing about 117 miles an hour. Well, I still got drum brakes on it. It takes a little bit to slow them down. Slow that one down, anyhow. Sometimes it's more fun trying to stop it than getting it to go.
So now, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from, Jim?
Excuse me, what was that?
Where do you get all your fire safety equipment from? Like your fire suit and all that?
Yeah, all my stuff is Simpson. Simpson helmet, Simpson jacket. I don't need pants or gloves in my class, but everything I would buy would be a Simpson product.
All right. So now, what kind of tires you run on that car?
Mickey Thompson ET Streets.
This car, do you know what year it was built?
Excuse me?
You know what year the car was built?
I believe it was built in the early 1967, off the factory floor, and I got it in 75.
Mm-hmm.
I had a 65 Chevelle that I totaled out, and my dad found this car. He's a truck driver. He found it on the side of the road. At that time, it was a 6-cylinder automatic car, and he put it in the back of his semi, brought it home one weekend, and for $225, I had a 67 Chevelle. So it's been mine since. And one of the main reasons I kept it was because my dad, he had a lot of hot rods and stuff growing up. And I always heard him say, "Boy, I wish I would have never sold that car. I wish I would have never sold that car." So I said, well, as long as I can afford it, I'll keep it. And I've been lucky enough to keep it all these years.
So when you first purchased that car, what kind of engine was in there?
It had a straight six in it, straight six automatic. And I pulled that out and put a 327 4-speed in it. And at one point it had a big block in it. And then that blew up. And then I got a 320, no, I got a 292 motor from my uncle for $700, tunnel ram and the whole spiel. And I put that in there back in, that'd be 79. That was the motor. I took the tunnel ram off and put a 4-barrel on it. And got that in there forever since 79 till last year.
Now, do you ever take the car out to car shows?
I've taken it to a couple local car shows in Waukesha years ago, but I haven't lately.
Have you won any car shows?
No. Actually, my brother-in-law, but he wasn't my brother-in-law at the time, back in 78, painted the car in his barn for $200 red. That's the same paint job that's on it.
No.
I can't imagine that nowadays, paying $200 for a paint job on a complete car.
Right, that's pretty damn cheap.
It had a black metal roof on it too, and pulled that off. So,
Right. At least paint job still looks good.
Yeah, it does. Could use a little touch up here and there, you know. But the hood has been repainted and doesn't match anymore because one Saturday night taking the friends out for a ride in the subdivision, I forgot to put the hood pins back in and the hood blew off. That was my mistake.
So now, since you've been driving that car, the Chevelle, have you reached any milestones?
1 milestone was getting to the 11s with it, and I did that. Then I wanted to start running 10s with it, but I decided to tubbing it, put the change in it, that I would go a different route. So we're in the process of doing that now, which is kind of under wraps yet, and I won't be bringing that out till April. So, but it'll be a bracket car. So I'm going to keep running this in street and just leave it as it is.
All right. So, what's been the most memorable race for you that you can think of?
For me, not with my car, unfortunately, but it would be winning the U.S. Nationals. Did the clutch on Andy's gold alcohol money car. We won the U.S. Nationals in 2015. So that was probably the biggest milestone of my racing career. In Grove, I've won a couple bracket races with the Chevelle, and I won one of the fun nights I had was the Wednesday night ladies night race, and everybody can race, but men race each other, ladies race each other. Then the winner of the men's and winner of the ladies race off, and I got beat by I forget her name, but she's on a 9-second motorcycle. Michelle something, which I don't know her last name, but that was a really fun night. That was a really good time. And I got back in the day in high school, you didn't race for money, you race for trophies. I probably have 30 trophies sitting in my shop somewhere.
30 trophies, that's not bad.
So, well, then I had my car sat. I had both my kids in junior drag racing, and they did very well for themselves. Alex, my son, was track champion and the national champion, and my daughter was a runner-up at the U.S. Championship one year in Indy. So the kids did really, really good in the juniors. So, and they're both involved in racing now.
So what kind of racing are they doing now?
Well, Tracy's helping Steve with their Pro Mod car, and hopefully we'll be driving this year. My son Alex worked for Connie Coletta DHL car, won the championship a couple of years ago. He worked on a DHL car for 3 years he was right cylinder and body on that car. Now he's crew chief for Bob Ram's Pro Mod car.
Oh,
Excuse me, not car chief.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're doing really good racing wise.
You got to be proud of both of them.
I am, and then, they all start. It's kind of like if it wasn't for my interest or my dad's interest in racing, they would have never got involved in it. So it's kind of, like I said, it's been in the family since I've been a little boy.
No, it's nice that they stuck with drag racing, still involved with it instead of just after junior dragster. That's it.
Right. Yeah, my daughter went from a junior to a street car, and she got a ride in a altered, and then a ride in a dragster, and then that all kind of fiddled out. So now she had a couple opportunities that didn't work out. She was going to drive one of the Nostalgia Pro Stock cars, and that kind of fiddled out. But things are going to be different this year, so she'll be behind the seat somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure something will come up.
Yeah, she's a good racer.
Now your daughter lives out this way?
She's in Paddock Lake. She bought a house in Paddock Lake recently.
Ah, okay. Yeah, maybe she'll get a Nostalgia Pro Stock and run with the Pro Stock group at Great Lakes.
Yeah. Well, she had the opportunity to drive one, and for disagreement, that deal fell through. So that's okay. Things, that's racing. Things happen that way all the time.
Yeah, they got 2 girls in that group now. They got Kelly Dill and Hannah Fleischman.
Yeah. Actually, Hannah took over the car that Tracy was going to drive. So, and I've known Hannah. Hannah and her dad bought Tracy's old junior dragster and raced that for years. So I know Steve and Hannah pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everybody knows everybody down there.
Oh yeah. So let me see. I'm gonna ask you a few fun questions here. Yeah.
All right.
Now, besides drag racing, outside of the drag racing, you have any hobbies?
Slot cars. Do a lot of slot car racing in the winter. Hunting, of course. I used to hunt a lot. I don't do it as much. But yeah, that's about it for all the hobbies.
No fishing?
I used to fish. And back in the 80s, my neighbor had a cabin up in Canada, and we went up there 2 or 3 years in a row. And the fishing was so great that back here it just wasn't as much fun as, every time you drop your line in the lake, you catch a fish up there. Here it's like, I don't know, it just wasn't as much fun. So I kind of gave up on that. And at that time, that's when we bought the first junior. So that kind of took over. Oh, I used to race RC boats too. That was a lot of fun.
So how many years did you race boats for?
Oh boy, about 6, 7. Yeah. About 6 or 7.
Where'd you used to do that at?
That was all basically all over the Midwest. Closest here was Badger Pond, right off of 94, kind of down by the Union Grove, 94 and Highway C, I think it is, the Highway E. And then Lamb's Farm, we used to race at Lamb's Farm right down there off of 94. Indy, they had a pond down there we went to a couple times and raced. Lacrosse we went up to. A couple places in southern Illinois we went. Yeah, it was a pretty good group of guys that we raced boats with. A lot of fun. Back in my younger days.
So now, Jim, if you were able to do time traveling and go backwards in time, would you do anything differently with the drag racing career?
Boy. The only thing I could say I would do differently would be to make more money so I could get started racing quicker. I started my business, and that took quite a bit of money to get going and get up and running. And once I got it up and running, then we had the cash flow to do things. The only thing, I would do different would be try to get that started sooner instead of working for other companies and getting a weekly check instead of starting my own business. Like going and really help our racing out. You know, racing's run on money, so.
Right. Well, at least you had your family backing you with drag racing throughout your career. They've always been supportive of you.
Right. You know, I can go. Well, you know, that whole thing with helping Andy with the funny car, I did that for 10 years. We met so many good people and so many teams. And, you know, it's just amazing the friendships we made throughout the years. That's one thing I really enjoy about the sport.
Now, for you, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions at all?
Not really, but I try to do everything the same. It's not that it's a ritual, but I figure if I do it all the same, you know, you strap in the same, you put your jacket on the same, you do everything the same, then hopefully you don't miss something. So I'm not going to call it superstition. I'm just going to call it a routine.
All right, now, what's been your most embarrassing moment on the track, Jim? Can you think of one most embarrassing moment you had on the track?
Yeah, the last race I went to, the CME race, they had the picture one. I forget what date it was. But I was putting fuel in the Chevelle, and somebody came up to me and asked me, you know, a question. And I took the fuel jug out, put it down, put the cap on the jug, and forgot about it. Well, I never put the fuel cap on. That's the first time in my career that I put anything on the track. When I took off, fuel came out of the tank. And when I got up to the ET shack, Freddie goes, "You're leaking fuel." I said, "What? How could I be leaking fuel?" And I get back to my pit, and sure enough, I never put the gas cap back on. So that would be it for me at this point.
You got distracted.
Yeah. There you go. My routine got broken, you know?
Yeah.
But thankfully it wasn't worse than that, you know?
Right. All right, so here's an easy question. What's your favorite food you like to eat?
Ribs.
Ribs?
Yeah, barbecue ribs.
Now, what's your favorite beverage to drink?
Diet Coke or Bud Light.
Diet Coke or Bud Light?
Yeah.
Now, are you a movie guy? You watch movies?
Well, not really, but I don't know if you heard or not, but I broke my kneecap on New Year's Day.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been laying here doing nothing for a couple days.
You've been watching a lot of movies.
Yeah. Thankfully, I have Netflix, and the worst part of Netflix is trying to figure out which one to watch.
Yeah.
So I've been watching some stuff.
So what would you say is your favorite movie of all time?
Probably Tombstone.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Or American Graffiti. I saw that in high school. Those two are pretty much up there on the top of my list.
Now, what's your favorite music to listen to?
I'm a hard rock and roll kind of guy. Even at my age, you know, Kiss and Motley Crue and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was like my first band, Kiss. My brother got me into Kiss, and I was all Kiss crazy.
Yeah, I didn't really get into Kiss until lately, but, you know, in high school it was the 50s stuff, and then 80s was, of course, you know, the disco crap. But now it's, Motley Crue, and, you know, I like some of the new stuff they're coming out with, too.
Now, when you were growing up, did you have a favorite cartoon?
Favorite what?
A favorite cartoon when you were growing up as a kid?
Not really. No.
How about a TV show?
Boy.
You know, like Leave It to Beaver or something like that one?
Brady Bunch and watching Marsha, you know.
Marsha and Davy Jones.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah. The monkeys, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You remember the episode of the Brady Bunch when Davy Jones was on there? Now, if you weren't drag racing, what do you think you'd be doing?
Oh boy, I'd probably be racing boats, full-size boats. Probably would have got into that. Or some type of stock car racing on dirt. Digits or sprint cars, or it would have to do something with racing. Just because it's in my blood, so to speak.
Now, how important do you think it is for kids to come out and watch drag racing?
I think nowadays, parents need to bring their kids out there and leave their phones in the car and let them watch something different besides their phones. It's getting to be, in my opinion, ridiculous that no matter where you go, all you see is people looking at their phones. I don't understand it. That's probably because of my age. I mean, I do it now too, but kids need to get out there and experience something besides sitting at home playing video games and sitting on their phone.
Yeah, and some of them are doing Facebook Live video feeds, and the people at home are watching it, and they don't go to the track. They can just watch the live feeds.
I know, and it's not the same. You know, it's just not the same. I know, like if we're working on the car at Steve's shop or something, he's got live feed from wherever, you know, some race on, which is okay, but we're not sitting there staring at it all day. You know, it's just in the background. It's basically background noise.
Yeah. So now, if people want to find out where you're going to be racing at for this year, what's the best way for them to find out where you're racing at?
I guess my Facebook page, they can contact me there. But basically, we'll be at Grove for every bracket race this year, and probably going Byron a couple times, and they got a new class for the what's it called, River Redemption, that's going down at Cordova. Steve Rowan's a part of that. I think they have a class now that I can run in with my Chevelle and a heads up 5. I think it's a 5.0 class, 8 mile. I think I can compete in that. So to find me, I guess just look me up. You know, friend request me on Facebook, Jim Diekfuss. I don't have a website or anything like that.
All right, now I want to thank you very much for taking time to do an interview, Jim.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'm glad we got together finally.
Now, you have any final words or thank yous you want to give out?
Yeah, you know, thank you guys, the Classic American Muscle guys, for letting me join them. My kids are always being there for me. Steve and his dad for helping out when they can. The Grove for keeping the bracket program running. Without them, I don't know what we'd be doing. Bracket guys would be doing. You know, in the whole racing community in general, thanks everybody for being friends and helping out when someone's down and out and needs a hand. Everybody jumps in and helps out, and that's what I really like to say. Thanks to everybody for. It just makes it easier knowing that if you do have an issue, you can ask somebody and they'll help you. So that's all I can say about that.
Sounds good. Well, thanks again, Jim.
All right. You have a great night.
You have a great night, too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
Bye-bye.